Session Chair, distinguished speakers on the dais, industry veterans, seniors, and I am told there are some students also present in this hall. So very good afternoon to everybody present here. The topic is very, very relevant, but I would say one thing. If I am given the opportunity to present this topic say in 2000, in the present scenario of 2023, there is a big difference. As already introduced by our session chair, there is urgency. There is a lot of uncertainty, and wherever there is an uncertainty, we have to be careful. And that is the demand of the time. When you don't know what is going to happen to supply, demand, price, everything is variable, we have to be careful. And careful in the sense, we have to bring oil as early as possible, as cost efficient as possible, and on time. And that is the demand of the day. With this background, I will start the presentation. So first of all, enhanced oil recovery is not the only method which improves recovery. And if you ask me, my company gave me the opportunity not to see only within the ONGC or with the joint venture. Presently, I am in such a position that I am seeing overseas also. Much before enhanced oil recovery, I would say, enhanced oil recovery can help you. But IOR is the process which really brings the recovery. If you falter at the stage of IOR, even if you do the best EOR, you are not going to improve the recovery. So first call to improve the recovery, you have to take at the level of IOR, which we call improved oil recovery, which encompasses many processes. Then certainly EOR is going to help you. But if you faltered at the stage of IOR, I think EOR is not going to help you much. With this background, I will start the presentation. Next slide. Oh, okay. The first left corner, you are seeing a graph. This is last 25 years, almost 8 fields, big fields of India. Only water cut is plotted. And what it is telling to us. To start with, in 97, these fields were having water cut in the range of, say, 25% to, say, 80% or so. And today also, these fields are producing. The only difference is that the present-day water cut is in the range of 70 to 90%. Last 25 years, just mind the period, we have traveled a distance from 25% to 70% water cut to 70 to 90%. So in our horizon, like we say, with all discovery goes in millions here, our production also goes in many decades. But the today time demands that decades has to be squeezed. Maybe 2 decades, 3 decades, or something like that. There are some 3 spots you are seeing in the red. Though there are many points, but 3 words are written in the red. This makes the difference between a good field recovery and the bad recovery from a field. I have seen not only within the India, even outside India, the companies which are restricting to all these 3 parameters which I am going to explain, they are doing good on these 3 accounts, their recoveries are good. With the same analogous field. But those who are faltering on these 3 points, their recoveries are going to suffer. The first thing is the liquid. I always say we never produce oil, we only produce liquid. Nobody has control to produce oil, I tell you. We can only produce liquid, and depending upon the field maturity and other thing depends how much oil we are getting, or displacement process, how much oil we are going to get. People forget liquid. I have seen many fields where a lot of water injection is there, still liquid is being lost. If you are improving your oil production, liquid is still going down, I can understand. But if you are losing your oil production and liquid is going down, it is totally unacceptable. And if such field goes to EOR, certainly they are going to struggle. So first thing is that liquid-wise, optimal liquid withdrawal from the field has to happen within the IOR process, even the EOR process. The second point is the water production. As of now, many fields I know, those are completed with the completion where we can tamper with the water cut. Like you must be knowing, there are many wells completed with the swell packer and sliding sleeve. But I find very few wells have been operated to control the water cut. It is a wastage of resources. Before you venture into the much costlier EOR process, you have to do all this small thing to improve the recovery from the particular field or any well. There are many methods today. Industry, I'd say technology is moving very fast, but adoption is not matching with the development of technology. There are many methods, chemical methods, mechanical methods, which can do well-bore control of water production. Still, I think there is a lot to be done in that respect from all the operators. And the third point, which I will deal, EOR, which is everybody is thinking that this is the main topic of the session. Certainly, it is EOR, which will improve the recovery. But I just wanted to put a word of caution to my all distinguished industry friends here, that don't think that EOR is only panacea. Unless you do good IOR, EOR will struggle. And if any student are there, I have very good, just to remember what we have to do. Bottom side, you are seeing 5 words. Weser. Weser is a river in Germany. I just remember what I need to do with these 5 words. The W is water management. Once I say water management, it's not only water production. It is not only the liquid production. It is a water injection. It is a water disposal. I tell you, if you have to bring down the cost of any field, operating cost, you have to know how to manage water. And that is a single important commodity which can reduce the OPEX of any field, if you manage your water very well. This is one thing. Second is enhancement of productivity, which deals with all fracturing, stimulations, liquid enhancement, and everything. Surface facilities. As the field mature, the first casualty is surface facility. And if you don't revamp the surface facility in time, your recovery is going to struggle. You have to revamp the surface facility well in time when you can have the economic return. If you do it in a very later period, maybe your economics will not permit to revamp the surface facility. So these things are very well, has to be well managed to improve the recovery. The third is enhanced oil recovery, which in any case I will talk. And the reservoir characterization. Mature field, once we say there is a perception that mature field means it is past its prime time, it is in a declining phase. So that connotation comes to our mind when we talk about mature field. But when we forget that, this mature field has given us a knowledge of 25, 30, 40 years. How best we can use that knowledge of reservoir characterization, drive, potential, productivity, all the factors, rock properties, fluid properties, that is the key to improve the recovery factor. How best we use that knowledge to translate in future, in our development schemes. That is the real success lies there. So with this Weser word, this is how I keep remembering the key points which I need to pursue in different fields. Now coming back to the topic, which is enhanced oil recovery. In 2018, the government came up with the ER policy, where all the ER policy fields have to be incentivized in different terms, like sales royalty, some incentive to be given to different operators. All these 4 or 5 graphs, what you are seeing, it happened before ER policy. I tell you, we have all the learnings, we have all the experience of EOR within India. Some of the operators are there. Some of the national oil companies, we have operated different types of EOR. We call it, mainly 3 types of EOR are there: chemical, gas-based, and as well as thermal. And this single graph includes all. If I start from the bottom left corner, that is the polymer, it started way back in early 80s. And is still producing, and expected recovery factor to go around 40% or so. That is Sanand, the polymer. There are 2 in situ process, air injection process in Balol and Santhal, is still doing good. The primary recovery expected from these fields were something around 15% or so. We are going to recover 40% plus. And that is the effect of EOR process, thermal EOR. The top graph, and this is the EOR graph, what EOR can do to a particular field. The break, what you are seeing in the top graph, the field would have been over in 1998, had this EOR process been not there. And till today, it is producing almost the similar level what it was producing in 1998, and recovery has improved more than 20-25%. It is a miscible gas injection process in Gandhar, western part of India. And the last graph, my colleague, Mr. Suresh, is there. He will deal in much more clarity. It is also a polymer and ASP process, which has really given us the improvement in the recovery factor, and we are expecting a recovery factor increase from something around, say, 10 to 12% by implementation of this process. So before ER policy, we had the know-how how to implement the EOR, and all those EOR processes have given us the dividend. Going forward, post-EOR policy, see, EOR policy, when it came, the first thing is that it's very easy to implement the polymer. It is much a simpler process. It is, I would say, it's not a EOR process. This is a modified water injection process. You just load something in the water, and it gives you improved displacement and aerial displacement, I would say. Volumetric efficiency it gives, and you recover more. So first, we targeted all the polymer. We implemented around 12 ASP pilot studied. And today, ASP6 pilots are under implementation in different part of our company. The difficult EOR processes are slowly and slowly coming in the line, and those are also on the radar, but certainly it is going to take time for the implementation. The first pilot, Pichraji, it is around 270 poise oil. It is very close to Balol and Santhal. Just I want to mention one thing. When we implemented polymer pilot, the productivity of the field is around 2 to 3 cubic meter per day, and the pilot producers gave average of around 15 cubic meter per day, almost 5 times average. The peak was something around 20 plus, average was 15. That is the beautiful message from the polymer, what we can get if we implement in the proper reservoir. And all this method, and second, North Kadi, this particular process was implemented without pilot, because there was a learning from Bechraji. It has worked in 270 poise centi oil. We implemented in 120 centi poise oil, that is North Kadi, without any pilot. And today, almost 10 to 15 patterns are working, and we are trying to expand this pilot patterns to almost 40 patterns. So this is the effect what we can have with the polymer injection in the reservoirs. But as told by our session chair, the real crux of the issue is how fast we implement. All these processes have been implemented within 2 to 3 years. And certainly, the modular system has played a role. Our friend from SNF is there, and I think he will elaborate once he makes the presentation. The modular system really helps to expedite the EOR process and gives good dividend to all the different oil companies. These are the future EOR process. ASP, already it has arrived. Viraj we are doing, we are already seeing from 100 tons to almost 250 tons, almost 150 ton jump from the ASP process. But it is a bit, I would say it is a designing as well as implementation. Both way, I think it is a little bit tougher than polymer injection, because a lot of combination, even optimization in the lab is required. But certainly once it is implemented in the field, it gives good result. As in the case of Viraj, we have a good dividend from this particular field. Low cell water flood, it is a good candidate for offshore, because offshore India, I would say, many offshore, they have implemented gas-based EOR. But India, you know, gas is not plenty available. It's not available that much we can spare for the EOR process. Certainly, we have to go for water-modified different EOR process to change the wettability or to improve the, dislodge the oil from the different processes like different chemical surfactant like things. So we have implemented low salinity water flood already in Mumbai High from July 22. Almost we are going to complete 1 year. It has stabilized the production. All monitorings are being done. And prima facie, whatever signals we are getting, it is working in the field. But certainly we are going to conclude this EOR process in another 1 year time period. Then we are going to expand it. High pressure air injection, it is a very good candidate for the low permeability reservoir. As all of us know, it is very difficult to produce from low permeability. It is very difficult to inject low permeability. Even if you inject water, to talk between injector and producer is very difficult. So pressure maintenance is an issue, and productivity is an issue in tight reservoir. This we are trying to attempt in one of the very tight reservoir in Ahmedabad asset, Navagaon. And if we really succeed, it will open a way how we can tackle tight reservoir. And if we talk in ONGC, we are having something around more than 500 million ton of in place locked up in tight reservoir, where recovery is of the order of, you can say, very well less than 10%. And even if we improve recovery by 10%, it is another 50 million ton of oil. CO2 EOR, CO2 is excellent agent for improving recovery as a UR agent. I will not go into the detail because time does not permit. We have done all the technical study. Presently, it is at the stage of, I would say, the policymakers are involved in that, how to make the policy framework, how to go for the financing. All those levels are being worked out. And once those things are available, I think it will see the light of the day and it will be implemented. All the technical works have been done, but it is, I think, first of its kind in India. It is going to take time. And once it is, policy framework is available, I think we can implement in the field. This is the last slide I have. 2-3 things I want to share with you. Data analytics. It is being implemented in my company. I am seeing many other foreign companies are also adopting. The beauty of this particular technology is that it really helps in water injection optimization. Even in the infield drilling, I have seen in some of the cases, it really helps. It is less time consuming rather than creating a static dynamic model. It can be created within 1 or 2 or 3 months maximum. You can see different iterations, millions and million iterations, so real optimization you can do. So I think it is the thing, once we implement in our field, it will improve the recovery or productivity of our field. There is urgent need to reduce EOR, which I told time. In normal EOR, it takes almost 5 to 7 years to implement in the commercial scale. And you have seen we have reduced it to 3 years in our case, but certainly more reduction is required if we have to reap the benefit of EOR. EOR in offshore, it is a concern today. Very limited processes are applicable from the technical point of view, even financial point of view. So really, more and more research, I think, it needs to be done in the EOR process, which needs to be implemented in offshore. CO2 EOR, as a CCUS, I told this is the policy framework and other things are being worked out, then it will be implemented. And as a future, once we implement the air injection in Navagaon, and if we succeed, it is really going to open up a new, I would say, process, how to exploit the difficult oil which is trapped in, I would say, low permeable reservoir. And before I stop my talk, one thing I would say for the policymakers, being from the industry, we have done a lot of work, policy changes for exploitation, even policy changes for monetization, even policy changes for our mature field. But let us keep on our radar that for want of fiscal policy, no oil should be left in the ground, because this is a national property. Whatever oil we have discovered, it is a national property. It is our duty to bring it on the surface for the use of our people of India. With these words, I really thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to be with you. And thank you very much.